The day I was saved from my second suicide attempt, I saw an anonymous post on PackNet. What was the smartest choice you ever made to change your fate? The top answer was, 10 years ago my best friend ranked first in the Pack Council selection. I ranked second. So I gave her a microdose of wolfsbane before her wolf core screening. Then I hinted that her boyfriend was the one who gave it to her. She believed me. She cut him off completely. I took my chance and pursued him. Now I'm a Luna. I have an estate, sports cars, and twin pups. She lost. I won. Someone asked, what happened to your best friend after that? She tried the council selection 3 more times. Failed everyone. She ended up at a small company. Her boss harassed her. She became depressed and kept trying to kill herself. Actually, I used my Luna authority to pressure that boss into targeting her. So yeah, choices matter more than hard work. Tongue sticking out. I stared at that familiar profile picture. My fingers went cold. So my life had been stolen 10 years ago. I closed my eyes. I kept wondering, if I hadn't been drugged, what would my life have looked like? Then I heard the moon goddess's voice. Sylvia Vale, I will not allow someone who stole another's fate to remain in a high council position. Go back. Take back what is yours. I opened my eyes. I was back. The day before the wolf core screening. Lucas Blackwell sat beside my bed. He checked my things one more time. Candidate ID, screening notice, medical form, council application. Everything's here. He was the alpha heir of Windmere Pack. At 16 we felt the mate pull during our first full moon gathering. We fell hard and fast. He gave me everything I wanted, even phone intimacy. He sent me a shirtless photo with his face showing, not caring if I leaked it. I stared at Lucas. Tears streamed down my face. I was back. I was really back 10 years ago. Lucas panicked when he saw me crying. Sylvia, why are you crying? Don't worry. Your wolf core has always been stable. Blood purity, silver sensitivity, liver enzymes, wolf bond stability. All perfect. I wiped my tears. I was about to make up an excuse when Lyra's voice came from the door. Sylvia, try this. You said you wanted honey tonic yesterday. I made it. She walked in with 2 cups. The sweet scent of honey and herbs filled the room. I froze. My wolf snarled inside me. In my past life I ate nothing to avoid any accidents. Except that honey tonic. She must have added a microdose of wolfsbane. Not enough to kill me, but enough to disrupt the toxin panel. Enough to make me fail my wolf core screening. Hatred and rage nearly burned through my control. I took a deep breath. I forced it down. Not yet. The screening mattered most right now. I looked at her. My voice was cold. You have to fast before the screening. I'm not drinking. Lyra's smile froze. She couldn't believe I refused her. I'd never refused her before. I'd never rejected her kindness. She tugged my sleeve like she always did. Just 1 sip. It's fine. There's still time. I spent all afternoon making it. At least try some. I pulled my arm away. No. If you really care, make it for me after I pass. Lyra's face darkened. Sylvia, what do you mean by that? You think I'd hurt you? I scored only 0.5 points below you in the council selection. I didn't even make it to the screening phase. I wasn't angry. And now you're acting like this because I made you something? I met her eyes calmly. Why would you think that? Did you put something in it? Panic flashed through Lyra's eyes. The air turned tense. Lucas stepped in to ease the situation. Lyra, Sylvia isn't accusing you. She just has to fast before the screening. She won't drink it. I will. He picked up 1 cup and took a big gulp. Delicious. You're really good at this. Lyra's plan fell apart. She couldn't keep smiling. She slammed the cup onto the table. Fine. Suit yourselves. Then she left. Lucas noticed something was wrong. He hugged me gently. Babe, what's going on today? You and Lyra used to be so close. I looked into his eyes. I hesitated. Then I said, nothing. I'm just nervous. Lucas patted my back. Get some sleep. Tomorrow will be fine. I closed my eyes. I prayed to the moon goddess. Please let everything go well tomorrow. The next morning I packed my things. Lucas was supposed to drive me to the Pack Council screening center. But when I opened the passenger door, Lyra was already sitting in the back seat. I looked at Lucas. Last night I told him clearly. Just him. No Lyra. Lucas gave me an apologetic look. I said no. But she insisted on coming. Lyra heard him. She put on a hurt expression. Sylvia, we promised we'd be together for every big moment, right? You've been acting strange since yesterday. Did I do something wrong? I checked the time. Arguing would only delay the screening. Fine. Let her come. At least I could watch her this time. In this life I'd see how she planned to steal from me. I buckled my seatbelt. Lucas, drive. You're overthinking it. I just didn't want you to tire yourself out. Lyra smiled stiffly. Hatred flashed beneath her eyes. I closed mine. I pretended not to see. As soon as we left the pack housing area, Lyra handed me a water bottle. Sylvia, drink some. Your lips are dry. I gave her an annoyed look. I told you. Nothing before the screening. Do you not understand? Lyra's smile froze. Lucas frowned instinctively. Sylvia, you're too tense. A sip of water won't affect the results. I ignored her. I put on my earbuds. I closed my eyes. I slept. No matter what she said, I acted like I couldn't hear. Her expression grew more anxious. Finally, the car stopped at the Pack Council Screening Center. I let out a long breath. I checked my things one more time. Everything was there. I got out. Lyra followed. She grabbed my arm. Sylvia, take this. She pulled out a small moon charm pouch. It was dark blue velvet with a silver moon embroidered on it. It looked like a blessing from an old shrine. I went to the moon shrine for you. It'll help you pass today. She tried to put it into my screening bag. I stepped back. The pouch fell. White powder spilled out. It shimmered strangely under the sunlight. I laughed coldly. No random items in my screening bag. I walked quickly toward the screening area. Lyra picked up the pouch and chased after me. Sylvia, wait. This really works. I sped up. Just as she reached for my clothes, I stepped into the screening zone. The security guard stopped her. Only candidates beyond this point. I turned back. I caught the malice on her face. I took a few deep breaths. I steadied my heartbeat. Then I followed the staff through each test. Blood toxin panel. Silver sensitivity scan. Liver enzyme panel. Wolf core stability test. Healing factor response. When the last test ended, I finally relaxed a little. I went back to the waiting area. Lucas came over immediately. He handed me a water bottle. I hadn't drunk anything for more than 10 hours. My throat burned. I took a few big gulps. Beside me, Lyra stared at me. Her fingers twisted together. She was nervous. In my past life, I would have asked what was wrong. Now I didn't even want to look at her. The results came out quickly. No surprises. Everything passed. 2 lifetimes of resentment, relief, and fear hit me all at once. I broke down in Lucas's arms. I sobbed. In this life, I finally took back what was mine. But then Lyra, who had been silent the entire time, stood up. Her voice cut through the entire waiting hall. I want to report a violation. Candidate Sylvia Vale took banned substances before her wolf core screening. Everyone's eyes turned to Lyra. She raised her voice. I'm her best friend. I saw her take wolf core liver stabilizer last night. She has chronic liver issues. To pass the council screening, she illegally used drugs to alter her results. That's cheating. I demand a second screening for Sylvia Vale. The hall went silent. Then whispers spread like a tide. She took banned drugs during council selection? Is she crazy? No wonder her numbers were so good. If that's true, she shouldn't just lose her score. She should be banned for life. A second screening? Why was she so confident? Unless. My mind flashed to the water bottle. I grabbed Lucas's arm. Where did that water come from? Lucas's expression changed. It was. Lyra bought it at the convenience store. My vision went black. I almost lost my balance. I'd guarded against everything. And she still got me. I took a deep breath. I forced myself to stay calm. My screening results were already valid. A few words from Lyra wouldn't trigger a retest. As long as there was no retest, her plan couldn't work. She stood in the middle of the crowd. She kept stirring everyone up. She looked at me with disappointment. Her voice sounded hurt. Sylvia, I'm sorry. You're my best friend. But I can't watch you cheat the council. I looked up at her. I smiled. Oh really? You can't watch me cheat. Or do you want to knock me out so you, the second place alternate, can take my spot? Because if I get disqualified, you get to replace me. The crowd started looking at Lyra differently. So her report might not be true. She could be setting her up. Second place can make people bitter. She passed the written test and interview. Who would take drugs right before the screening? Lyra couldn't handle the suspicion. She turned the attention back on me. Sylvia, you're guilty, aren't you? If you didn't take anything, just take the test again. I walked toward her. Step by step. I already passed. Why should I take it again? Because of your baseless accusation? Ridiculous. Then I'll report every candidate here for taking wolfsbane suppressants. Should we retest everyone? A steady voice came from outside the crowd. Well said. The Pack Council Selection Supervisor, Inspector Grant, walked in with several staff members. According to regulations, accusations require evidence. Verbal claims alone are not enough for a second screening. Lyra immediately argued back. This is a cover-up. I reported it publicly. Why won't you order a retest? Inspector Grant walked up to her. He asked calmly, Miss Reed, you reported Sylvia for taking drugs. Do you have evidence? Lyra's eyes flickered with panic. Half a minute later, she gritted her teeth. If I have evidence, you'll order a second screening, right? Inspector Grant nodded. Lyra looked at me. She smiled contemptuously. She pulled out her phone. She opened a video. Then she held it up for everyone to see. This is the evidence. The video was time-stamped at 10 last night. In it, I took 2 white pills from the living room drawer and swallowed them. Then I went back to my room. The camera zoomed in on the pill box. Wolfcore liver stabilizer. It temporarily reduced liver enzyme fluctuations. Could fake wolfcore stability. A common cheating drug in the council selection. I stared at the screen in disbelief. How? I knew I hadn't taken anything. But what was this video? Lucas squeezed my hand. His voice was firm. The video is fake. I was with Sylvia all night. I can prove she didn't eat or drink anything after the afternoon. Lyra scoffed. You're her mate. Of course you'd defend her. Inspector Grant, check the video yourself. See if it's real. She handed her phone to Inspector Grant. 5 minutes later, the technical staff gave their verdict. The video is authentic. No signs of editing. Inspector Grant looked at me with disappointment. Sylvia, to ensure fairness, you need a second screening. The room went silent. Everyone stared at me. Lyra looked at me provocatively. Triumph filled her eyes. I closed my eyes. I had nothing left. This is it. Even with a second chance from the moon goddess, I couldn't change anything. I opened my eyes. I took a deep breath. Then I spoke calmly. I agreed to the second screening. I had no strength left. The staff took me for another toxin panel. While waiting, Lyra walked over. Her voice echoed in my mind. Sylvia, I had a dream during your first screening. In the dream, you drank my honey tonic. You failed the screening, and I took your place as the alternate. Lucas left you too. He chose me. I looked up at her. I gave a mocking smile. Just a dream. Lyra admired her fresh manicure. Sylvia, did you have that dream too? Is that why you refused my honey tonic? Too bad. A loser is still a loser. Even after living again, you still lose. I laughed coldly. You're so sure my second screening will fail? She covered her mouth and giggled. Why else? You just drank half that bottle. Sylvia, stop fighting. 2 lifetimes. Your fate belongs to me. I couldn't hold back my anger. I raised my hand to hit her. A hand caught my wrist. It was Lucas. Don't. Sylvia, if you hit her, she'll use it against you. Then you'll really be finished. I came back to my senses. Lyra looked at me with pity. Just then, the second screening results came out. Before Inspector Grant could speak, Lyra rushed forward. Inspector Grant, is there something wrong with Sylvia's toxin panel? Inspector Grant gave her a complicated look. Then he announced coldly, Sylvia Vale's second screening has no issues. Lyra's smug confidence shattered. She screamed, How? She obviously drank. She stopped herself. Then she pointed at Inspector Grant. Are you covering for her? Inspector Grant's expression darkened. He frowned. His eyes locked on Lyra. Miss Reed, watch your words. The entire process was transparent. To ensure fairness, we even had the regional Pack Hospital's head healer verify the samples on site. Sylvia Vale's blood toxin panel, urine toxin panel, and wolf core scan are all normal. No banned substances were detected. Inspector Grant's words, combined with Lyra's reaction, made the truth obvious to everyone. So the reporter framed her best friend out of jealousy. She planted the drugs beforehand to force the second screening. But Sylvia was prepared. Falsely reporting a council candidate? She'll never join the Pack Council now. Exactly. This was what Lucas and I had planned. In my past life, I failed the wolf core screening. I went to the review board. I begged for a retest. They rejected me immediately. Miss Vale, the night before your wolf core screening, we received a report with video evidence. Someone filed a formal complaint saying you took drugs before the screening. Your toxin panel also showed abnormalities that day. The evidence is solid. We can't approve a retest. Because they told me about the report. And Lyra kept hinting that Lucas gave me the water. I broke down. I needed someone to blame. So I blamed Lucas for everything. It wasn't until I saw Lyra's PackNet post that I realized I was wrong. After returning to the past, I never forgot about the video report. I knew if the honey tonic failed, she had another plan. So the night before, I told Lucas, whatever Lyra gives you, tell me immediately. After my first screening, Lucas messaged me. Lyra bought a bottle of water. She specifically told me to make you drink it right after you come out. I had Lucas switch it. Then I pretended to panic and forced Lyra to reveal the video. Now the water bottle and the video were both dealt with. My knees went weak. I collapsed into a chair. Lucas rushed over and held me. Sylvia, are you okay? I took a deep breath. I shook my head. I'm fine. Lucas, thank you. Without you, this wouldn't have worked. Lyra sank to the floor. She laughed and cried at the same time. No, that's not right. How? How could this happen? Minutes passed. Then she seemed to accept it. She stood up. Sylvia, don't get too confident. We'll see. She turned to leave. Leaving. I blocked her. You framed me. You almost destroyed my council career. And you think you can just walk away? Lyra stepped back in fear. Her voice trembled. What else do you want? I laughed in disbelief. I want the Pack enforcers. You forged evidence. You falsely accused a competitor. That's a crime. Lyra Reed, enjoy prison. Lyra stared at me in disbelief. She saw I was serious. Her lips trembled. Tears filled her eyes. She looked around with a wounded expression. If reporting injustice is a crime, then I have nothing to say. Clever wording. She made herself sound like a hero exposing corruption. Sure enough, the crowd began to shift. Just let it go. You didn't lose anything. She might have misunderstood. She apologized. Don't be so harsh. Lyra looked at me smugly. Then she bowed deeply. Sylvia, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have doubted you. I apologize. Please spare me. Her shamelessness made me sick. I didn't waste words. I pulled out my phone and called the enforcers. The crowd turned against me. Why are you so cruel? She apologized. What more do you want? I looked at the speaker. Calmly I said, I only want one thing. Where did that video of me taking pills come from? The room went quiet. Everyone stopped to think. Lyra bit her lip. Guilt flashed in her eyes. She tried to leave several times. I blocked her every time. The enforcers arrived quickly. Who filed the report? I raised my hand. Me. Today was my Pack Council Wolf Core screening. This woman used a video to accuse me of taking banned drugs. She demanded a second screening. But the second screening showed I took nothing illegal. The enforcers frowned. Their eyes turned to Lyra. What's the video about? Lyra looked at me helplessly. She was still pretending. I just happened to record it. I saw her take pills. I thought she was cheating, so I reported it for fairness. Is that wrong? I laughed coldly. Since you put it that way, I have a video too. I opened the live stream recording on my phone. I started a live stream at 8 p.m. last night. Full screen recording. I sped it up to 8x. The video shows I never left my room from 8 p.m. last night until this morning. Explain this. If I never left my room, how did you record me taking pills in the living room? Lyra's face turned pale. I don't know. I really just happened to record it. I nodded at Lucas. He understood. He put on gloves. Then he pulled a water bottle from his bag. Lyra Reed gave me this water. She insisted that I make Sylvia drink it right after her first screening. And she only demanded a second screening after confirming Sylvia drank it. I continued. If she really just saw the video and reported it for fairness, why didn't she report it before my first screening? Why wait until after I drank the water? I suspect this water was drugged. I want it tested. The enforcers took the bottle. They handed it to the healer for a quick test. 10 minutes later, the results came back. The water contains wolf core liver stabilizer. And the primary fingerprints on the bottle match Lyra Reed. Lyra's body shook violently. Then she let out a muffled sob. Sylvia, you win. You win, okay. She completely broke down. She stared at me like she had lost her mind. Why you? Why did you get first place when I was only 0.5 points behind? 0.5 points. Just 0.5 points. I only wanted a chance. What did I do wrong? I looked at her calmly. You could have worked harder. You could have tried again next year. Instead, you chose to destroy my life. Lyra laughed coldly. Try again? Easy for you to say. If our positions were reversed, you'd do the same. You act so noble because you're not the one who came second. She disgusted me. You're not me. Don't assume you know what I'd do. Even if we switched places, I'd compete openly. Lyra smiled bitterly. She said nothing. Then suddenly she dropped to her knees in front of me. She sobbed. Sylvia, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please don't send me to prison. If you forgive me, I promise I'll never show up again. Please. 20 years of friendship. Give me one more chance. I crouched down. I leaned close to her ear. I spoke through the mind link. Spare you? Who spared the old me? In that life you ruined my screening. Then you used your Luna authority to have me sexually harassed. Do you know what it feels like to be stripped and humiliated in public? Lyra suddenly smiled. You deserved it. For being so stupid. Sylvia, you deserved everything. She burst into laughter. I stood up. I looked at her calmly. Lyra, enjoy your ruined life. Lyra was taken away by the enforcers. With Lucas's help, I hired the best lawyer. Lyra faced multiple charges. Forging evidence. Distributing wolf core liver stabilizer. Obstructing the council's selection. Falsely accusing a competitor. The original 3-year detention became 10 years because of the lawyer's work. The video was investigated as well. Lyra had hired a she-wolf with a similar build and appearance to mine. She staged the video in the living room while we were asleep. After the public review period, I officially joined the regional pack council. I thought it was over. I had finally reclaimed my life. But on my first day, 2 people blocked my way at the council office entrance. Lyra's parents. The moment they saw me, they dropped to their knees. Sylvia, we apologize for Lyra. Please spare our daughter. She's only 20. She's still so young. Please. In the crowded council hall, Lyra's mother bowed repeatedly. Lucas stepped in front of me. This isn't an apology. It's public pressure. You came here on Sylvia's first day at the council office on purpose. You want PackNet to force her into making a forgiveness statement. But Lyra got what she deserved. Lucas deliberately showed his Alpha Air badge. A silver wolf head with the words Windmere Pack beneath it. His voice carried a warning. I heard you have a son in Windmere Pack. If you keep this up, I'm afraid he won't be able to hold his head up in his pack. Or are you willing to sacrifice your son's future for a daughter who broke the law? Lyra's parents went pale. They collapsed to the ground. Whether they finally understood or Lucas scared them away, they left soon after. That night I had a dream vision. The moon goddess showed me what happened after I died in my past life. Lucas saw Lyra's anonymous post on PackNet. His voice shook with anger. Is what you posted true? Did you really drug Sylvia back then? Did you make her fail the wolf core screening? Lyra sat on the couch. She played with her Luna ring. She looked completely unbothered. You saw it. She laughed. Yeah, it was me. So what? Your Luna is pretty impressive, right? I changed my own fate. Lucas couldn't believe it. His fingers turned white. How could you do that? Are you insane? You ruined her life. How can you be so calm about it? What about the harassment? Lyra frowned slightly. She didn't understand why he was so angry. They had been bonded for 7 years. They had twin pups. They shared an estate, wealth, and reputation. She believed that even if Lucas knew the truth, he couldn't do anything. So she stayed calm. Oh, that? I only made a suggestion. I told him to make Sylvia's life difficult, but he took it too far. His mate found out and went to the company. She stripped Sylvia in public, pinned her down and beat her. Lyra actually laughed while saying it. She didn't notice how dark Lucas's expression had become. Lucas closed his eyes. He forced down the pain. Then he spoke hoarsely. Lyra, let's sever the bond. Lyra's laughter stopped. What? Lucas, are you crazy? Lucas lit a cigarette. He looked at her calmly. I'll keep the pups. We'll split the rest according to pack registry rules. I won't. Lyra screamed. Lucas, I'll pretend you're just angry. Tomorrow you'll apologize. After that, no one mentioned Sylvia again. Lucas stayed calm. His voice was soft but absolute. If you refuse, I'll report everything to the council discipline board. You spent 10 years climbing to this position. If you don't want to lose everything, sign. Lyra finally panicked. She realized Lucas was serious. Lucas, you can't do this. I had no choice back then. I promise I won't go after Sylvia again. Please. For the pups. Forgive me. You don't want them to grow up without a mother, do you? Lucas put out his cigarette. If they knew they had a mother like you, they'd only feel ashamed. The scene changed. To the pack registry office. Lucas and Lyra dissolved the bond. Afterward, Lucas reported Lyra's crimes to the council anyway. Lyra was removed from office. I woke up suddenly. My face was wet with tears. Lucas had already avenged me in my past life. I held on to him. I trembled. Guilt crushed me. Why was I so foolish? Why couldn't I trust him more? One moment I hated myself for doubting him. The next I was grateful to the moon goddess for giving me a second chance. Lucas stirred. He turned over and held me. His voice was sleepy. What's wrong? Bad dream. I buried my face in his chest. No. A good dream. He chuckled. What kind of good dream? Tell me. I dreamed we had our mating ceremony. Lucas instantly woke up. He stared at me in disbelief. Sylvia, do you know what you're saying? I looked up. I held his gaze. I know. So, Lucas Blackwell, will you be my mate? Half a month later, Lucas and I held our mating ceremony. Everyone said I was too impulsive, that I was too young to settle the bond. But only I knew Lucas and I had been apart for too long. 10 years. An entire decade. In this life I wouldn't waste another day. 3 years later, I became a regional pack council industrial safety inspector. One day, the council sent me for a surprise inspection at a pack-owned machinery plant. There I saw the man who had harassed me in my past life. He looked even more shameless than I remembered. Better at pretending to be pitiful. When he found out the plant was being inspected, he came running over. Inspector Vale, we're just trying to survive. This plant supports hundreds of workers. Business is bad. Costs are high. We only use some old machines temporarily. Please, for their sake, go easy on us. I laughed. I didn't bother with his excuses. No one knew this plant better than I did. In my past life, I was only a low-level employee at a small company. But I'd heard about this plant. Marcus cut costs by using condemned machinery for years. One worker lost an arm. The victim received no compensation. Marcus fired him for violating procedures. When the worker's family demanded answers, Marcus handled them too. Now I understand. Lyra must have protected Marcus with her Luna authority. That was why he dared to target me. I laughed coldly. I closed the inspection report. My voice was sharp. Shut down the production line. Recycle all condemned machines immediately. Marcus Crane, you're under council investigation. Not long after, Marcus's mate came to the council office. She cried and screamed, "Please, council, help us." Sylvia Vale secretly hinted that my husband should bribe her. He refused. So she took revenge and falsely reported him. She thought I'd back down. But the council investigation uncovered even more crimes. Marcus hadn't just used condemned machines and covered up injuries. He had also abused his position to harass female workers and low-ranking Omegas. One Omega was forced to quit. Later, she suffered a medical trauma alone. Marcus used his pack authority to bury all complaints. His mate's defense only exposed more of his crimes. His 3-year detention became 7 years. And I received public recognition from the council for my work. 3 years later, I became the council director. The same position Lyra had spent a decade trying to reach in my old life. By then, Lucas and I had a beautiful daughter.
This is Listening Novel. We appreciate you spending your time with us. If you enjoyed today's story, please like and subscribe for more stories, and stay tuned for what's next.